Johnny Murray here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox and the future of the platform, because Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, he opened up today answering a lot of questions that the Xbox community has been wondering for quite a while now. And I think a lot of this is really interesting information that we can definitely elaborate on and that we can definitely have some conversations about. And some of them are very key and very vital to where we're headed with Xbox. And, you know, as Xbox being my preferred platform, even though I love them all, this is definitely some interesting information that I definitely want to talk about. So that's what we're going to be doing this video. But if you guys love video games, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. Doesn't matter what you love: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, indie, PC, VR, whatever it may be. We talk about video games daily on this channel, so consider subscribing. Appreciate all the support you guys give me, especially the support on this video right here. But without further ado, let's get talking about Xbox and what Phil Spencer had to say on the Bloomberg report today. And this news has pretty much been going all over X and all over Twitter and all over whatever you want to call it. This news is making waves across the industry because some interesting stuff. So let's get started talking about what Xbox Phil Spencer said regarding the future in gaming for Xbox. And the first one we're going to talk about is he basically said that there are no red lines regarding which Xbox games will come to PlayStation. This has obviously been a huge topic all year for Xbox, seeming that they have released a lot of their exclusive games on their biggest competitor being PlayStation. And this has definitely hit a lot of fans in the wrong way, but it's also hit some fans in the right way, and it's kind of hit some fans in the neutral way. And what I will say, for me, I'm kind of neutral on it. As an Xbox fan, you know, I still get to play the games. More people get to play the game. It is better for sustainability. But at the same time, I do understand the worry about, you know, trying to push your platform, trying to get people to buy your console. You kind of need exclusives in a way, but at the same time, I think from me looking at an industry standpoint, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But me looking at it from a consumer standpoint, it doesn't really bother me, just because at the end of the day, I'm here for good games, and that's pretty much the bottom line. And as long as they're giving me that, I don't have any major complaints. But this is obviously a much bigger conversation. What games will be coming to PlayStation? What games might come to PlayStation? What games won't come to PlayStation? I think that is a big question that we need more answers on. We need to be more fine line than just there is no red line. So pretty much you're saying, okay, so anything can come next to PlayStation. So we're talking Halo, we're talking Elder Scrolls, we're talking Minecraft, we're talking Sea of Thieves. Obviously, some of these have already come to PlayStation. Some of them are rumored to come to PlayStation. Some of them haven't had any talk about going to PlayStation. There's so many games that we don't know what the future looks like for exclusivity. But what I will say is I think this definitely opens our eyes to expectations and maybe some hints of what could go over to PlayStation. I honestly, even though as much as I hate to say it, I definitely think Halo is on the board for coming to PlayStation, especially with the rumors of a Halo remake. That is the perfect game to introduce other audiences to the franchise, and if that comes to PlayStation, well, that makes a lot of sense to me. I do think Elder Scrolls 6, while everyone was pretty confident that would be a exclusive to Xbox now, and that would be one of their biggest exclusives ever, I don't think that'll be an exclusive anymore, if it even ever was planned to be an exclusive. And, you know, I think that there's so many other things that we could talk about in terms of what could go where. But for me, I think definitely when you're talking about the main trio of Xbox, the kind of meme that's been a thing for a while, Halo, Gears, Forza, I could genuinely see all three of those going to PlayStation. As much as that sounds awful and as much as that doesn't sound right, the reality is it's not off the table anymore. And I think that is going to help us gain expectations, so we're not completely like burning our house down when it does eventually happen. But no matter when it happens, no matter how it happens, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be happy. It's not going to be the best day ever for Xbox fans. But it's just going to be something, as a fan of Xbox, we're kind of going to have to get over. As much as I don't like it, it's just how it's going to be. And that's because another thing Phil Spencer said is that business is healthier now. Obviously, they've made a lot of changes this year, raising the price of Game Pass, bringing certain games over to PlayStation and other platforms. They've closed some studios. They've done a bunch of layoffs. So they've made a lot of business decisions to help sustainability. And according to him, it's healthier now. So maybe the worst is out the way, but I absolutely doubt it, knowing this industry and just how this company works. You can never really trust anything they say. And honestly, with this whole video and all these talking points that we're covering, take it with a grain of salt, because Xbox is known for kind of lying in a way. I mean, I don't really want to sugarcoat it as an Xbox fan. They are very bad at communication with their audience. But nonetheless, this is information, so we're going to talk about it. He did say that they plan to improve the Xbox app on portable systems. So if you're into that, I personally don't play on any portable systems. So that's not something I'm personally knowledgeable about to talk. Something else I really did find interesting is that they said they are interested in acquisitions that add geographic diversity. He also added that they have no acquisitions in progress now, but they are planning to expand into China, and that large acquisitions are not considered for the time being. So a lot to uncover there. Number one, they are interested in acquisitions. I mean, I'm pretty sure you ask this question to any company, they're going to give you the same answer. We're open-minded to it. If the right offer comes along, if the right timing comes along, if just the perfect fit comes along, they'll be open to it. That doesn't mean they're actively going out and trying to get acquisitions. But in this case, he did say that they are planning to expand into China. So maybe they are actively looking into that area, that part of the industry. And I think that is really smart. China has definitely seen big growth in the gaming industry, especially this year, especially with the massive hit of Black Myth Wukong being one of the biggest games of the generation so far. So I definitely think this makes a lot of sense. They've also been wanting to go more in the Asian territory. So I think this would definitely help. There's no acquisition in progress, so they're not in talks with Sega. They're not. Don't be getting all crazy. This is stuff that's pretty obvious. They kind of just finished Activision Blizzard, even though it was like pretty much a year ago now. Like, let's calm down, okay? They're not gonna just completely jump ships and go to something else completely huge. And the fact that they did say that no large acquisitions are considered at the moment is, I think, a good sign. Personally, I don't think they should acquire any more publishers. I think they should focus on individual studios. If they wanted to go out and get Platinum Games, if they wanted to go out and get Avalanche, something like that, I think I'm all for that. I think that is very, very smart. And that's how you're going to help build your Xbox Game Studios portfolio, not just by getting in a whole bunch of assets and then having to lay them off and do a whole bunch of restructuring and a whole bunch of rework. Just add a layer or two to it. And I think that is very, very good. And that could definitely help in their case for trying to get more geographic diversity. You know, let's get some France studios. Let's get some Australian. Let's get some Chinese, Japanese, whatever it may be. There's a lot of talented developers around the world. Let's try to expand that. And I think that's really smart from them. But definitely interesting stuff in terms of acquisitions, because Xbox has been like the acquisition king for like the whole generation. So it's always interesting to just hear what they're cooking in the acquisition department. Everybody makes memes. Phil's pulling out his wallet. At the moment, it doesn't seem like he's actively doing that, but we'll just have to wait and see more information as time goes on. Real quick, back to the exclusivity topic. He did say that's too early to decide the next Halo game will come to PlayStation. So that pretty much just confirms all my speculation that Halo is absolutely on the table, which, again, I get if you're mad. I get if you don't like it, but that's just how it is. I don't like it either, but it is how it is. And I personally do think, and here's what I'll say about exclusivity as a whole. I do believe that exclusivity at some point in the future will no longer be a thing. I don't know if that's within the next generation. I don't know if it's next generation. I don't know if it's this generation. But at some point, in my case, I think before 2030, I think exclusivity will not be a thing anymore. I think they are going to move on from that. I think PlayStation and Xbox as a whole. I think Nintendo will be the only platform that still has genuine exclusives. And what I will say is, I don't like that because I do think a platform needs exclusives. Exclusives are very important for a platform. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I think. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how the audience feels. It just determines what is best for their business. And a lot of us aren't going to like to hear that. And a lot of us definitely don't want to hear that. But that's just the matter of the fact in the way the industry is moving, with sustainability becoming way harder to understand and adapt to. It definitely an interesting talking point that we could literally spend a whole video just talking about sustainability and what exclusives mean for platforms. But just the fact that they're contemplating about Halo just tells you exactly where Xbox is at and where the industry's at. In no point in time before this generation would we ever think we'd see Halo on anything but an Xbox. And here we are, they're thinking about putting on PlayStation. That's unfortunately just the world we live in today. But the big thing here, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about in this video, is Microsoft is planning a handheld, but it's years away from release. So there we go. We got the confirmation from Phil Spencer himself. An Xbox handheld is in development. You guys know I've been super duper excited for this. I've been pushing for this. I think this is a great idea. Get to play Game Pass, get to play Xbox games locally on your handheld device. I think that sounds like a great idea. I really think this is a huge thing that Xbox needs, and I think just the gaming industry needs, especially the console market. Obviously, Steam and the ROG Ally are killing it in that department, but I think PlayStation, with the PlayStation Portal, they had a little bit of positive reception to that, but it's not exactly what everyone wants when it comes to a console handheld. This is what we want. The caveat is, we thought it was going to be a lot sooner than what he's saying it is. Now, when he says but it's years away from release, we don't know how much that is. We don't know if it's 5 years. We don't know if it's 4 years. We don't know if it's 1 year. We don't know if it's 2 years. My guess is, at the time of this recording and at the time of this interview, it is November 13th of 2024. And the Xbox Series X came out November 10th of 2020, meaning that is 4 years ago. There are rumors that the next generation Xbox, so whatever the next Xbox will be releasing in 2026. I would not be surprised if the handheld console and the next generation console launch hand in hand, side by side in 2026, which would then make pretty much everything we've been hearing accurate. You launch a next generation console in 2026. Your handheld is years away. Years means plural. If it was 1 year away, he'd say it's a year away. It's plural, meaning it's at least 2 or more. That would make that an accurate statement. Gears of War is planned for 2026. That is a definite launch title if that is the case. That would become accurate. There's a lot of things that if the next generation console and the handheld was 2026, everything would align, everything would make sense, and everything would be in plan. I really do think that is the best move for Xbox moving forward. I do think jumping PlayStation 1 or 2 years in advance, launching your next generation console before anyone else, is the right play. You want to separate yourself, especially since you're in such a third place standing, and especially since you have a strategy that is definitely different in terms of exclusives and how you're marketing things with Game Pass. You want to separate yourself, and I think that is a great way to do it, especially with a handheld when no one else has a handheld like that. Steam and the ROG Ally being your closest competitor, but those are PC handhelds, not console handhelds. Very different. And then, of course, Nintendo is in their own category by themselves. There's a lot to unpack there, and there's a lot to say, but I think when it comes to the handheld, this is definitely the best news that came out from today in this interview, because there's a lot of excitement behind the handheld. There's a lot of excitement of what's to come for Xbox, and I think this is a good sign, knowing that, okay, they are committing to a future with hardware, being the handheld, being a console. They are still open to acquisitions. Their business is at least healthy now. But unfortunately, this is going to be the worst part for a lot of people, is that exclusivity is definitely not a priority for Xbox anymore. And that's definitely something we're just going to have to get accustomed to, because I don't really see that changing anytime soon, unless there's a really huge turning point somewhere along the line. And to be honest, we've seen it with Xbox before, where they've just turned the corner 180 degrees randomly on a Tuesday at 5 a.m. Like, it could literally happen at any day, any time. But nonetheless, the future of Xbox still looks bright. We have a lot of great games coming with Doom the Dark Ages, Fable, South of Midnight, which just got a new big look, which looks fantastic. Indiana Jones coming out the end of this year. That's also looking really great. There's a lot to be excited for Xbox. And I definitely think we need more information. We need more communication like this. I think this interview that Phil did today, this is what we need on a consistent basis. Not we wake up one morning and find out 2 studios have been closed, and turns out everything you said in the past year has been a complete lie. This is what we need. We need the proactive communication rather than the reactive communication. That's what we need from Xbox, and I think they did a great job today, and I'm very excited for a lot of these things. I'm also a little bit disappointed and saddened by some of these things, but at the same time, that's kind of just how life goes and how the industry works. But you guys let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of all this information in the comments? Are you happy about the confirmation of a handheld? Are you skeptical about it? Do you wish they would be more active in acquisitions? How upset are you with the exclusivity stuff? Let me know. I'd love to talk it out with you in the comment section. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.